And now, it's time for a Star Trek story. You know, Aaron, so on our little silly Star Trek podcast, just from the sheer nature of Star Trek, on occasion, we actually do ask some more juicy questions, like, is Wesley Crusher a good character? The ones
spicy boy.
Yeah, the ones that really keep you up at night. No, we actually do have a juicy question. You know, especially nowadays, everything that's going on in the world, Ukraine, Israel and Palestine, and, all of human history, there's basically war and conflict going on basically everywhere at some point, all the time. And, I've heard it said, and, tell me if you've heard this. I've heard this sentiment before, that there are no innocents in war. And as we just, looking at our own political climate, I'm curious, what do you think? Are there actually no innocents in war?
I don't think I have an answer for this one, genuinely. It's so
yeah, that's tricky.
It's so heavy. On one side, I'm like, is anybody innocent ever? On the other side, I'm like, some people just want to grill and live their life.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, is it our duty to do something, to say something, to stop the war? Does that make us guilty, not doing anything? So it's like, I don't know. I'm just a mess with this question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you initially bring up, like, even just outside of war, just, are there innocents, like actual innocents, like, period?
Yeah.
Like, is anyone innocent?
Are we incorporating that into the things we've heard said, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I think I understand the sentiment, what they're trying to say, in that, I think it's trying to speak to the tragedy of war, just in the sense of, once a war happens, no matter what side you're on, everyone kind of has to, no one's innocent anymore. Everyone is affected by this and has to do horrible things. And I think that's the sentiment. My concern would be then, but it would kind of like, I don't know, unfairly level the playing field and responsibility if taken to an extreme. I mean, it's both sides.
Both sides make great points. Do they?
Putin, he's a good guy. Russia has some valid points. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'll be curious if this episode kind of sparks any more ideas. Star Trek always likes to spark a lot of these kind of moral ideas. And fortunately, we are, in fact, watching Star Trek on today's episode of Star Trek Stories. Yay! Yes, this is episode 55, Duet. I am your guiltless host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my stainless co-host, Aaron Cole. Hello.
Greetings tarnished.
For those coming on for the first time today, this is the second episode in our little Major Kira twofer that we're doing. So if you didn't listen to last episode, that might be a good one to listen to. Last time we watched Progress. This is where our fearless Major Kira had to evict an old guy from his house and then burned his house down when he wouldn't leave. Oh, dear.
Squatters' rights.
Squatters' rights. Not an exaggeration. No, I think we had a good one. That was an interesting discussion we had with that one.
Yeah.
And we get to continue some more Major Kira shenanigans today. To help us talk about and discuss these Major Kira shenanigans, we have a returning guest host on the show with us. Yes, back on the show, sitting in the captain's chair, we have the very lovely Toby Simmons back on the show. Yay! Toby, how are you today?
Tired.
Yeah, wow.
Very good.
I feel like every time you and I ask each other, how are you doing? Tired. Wow, what a surprise.
Loving the snow, though.
And I was like, yeah, you must be enjoying it.
Yeah.
Toby has these weird fantasies about living in Minnesota where it's cold and icy.
In a snow cave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little igloo. Yeah, for those who don't know, Toby is one of my dearest friends and colleagues from Utah Symphony, Utah Opera. Last time you were on, we watched not Star Trek, but Jaws for Nerd Movies 3, which I think we all had a splendid time watching.
Tons of fun.
I love that movie. It's so good. I almost kind of wish we were watching it again just for the hell of it. Or maybe Jaws 2.
You know, I used to be scared of the water.
Yeah. Can't imagine why. But you have never seen Star Trek before.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a total blind spot. I think my dad has seen some. I first learned that when I brought up months ago that I was coming on for Jaws, and he was like, "Oh, cool, Star Trek podcast. I'll listen." And I was like, "Okay."
But it's about Jaws.
But it's about Jaws. But yeah, he's made some comparisons to like Star Trek versus Star Wars, and how Star Wars is like, garbage compared to Star Trek. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Oh, the good one. Okay.
The good one. But yeah, I've never seen a single episode.
Wow. First time. I always love the first timers. We'll get a little more specifically into Star Trek in just a second. When you were on last time, we talked a little bit about how you are. We always like to talk about what kind of nerd everyone is. Everyone who comes on is a nerd of some kind. And we talked about a little bit how you're kind of like an academic nerd on some level, which is kind of why you and I get along so well, I think. Like, you love classical music, you love history, you love nonfiction, you love like classical literature, just some of like the real rich artistic history of humanity. I'm curious, because you and I don't talk about this kind of stuff as much. What is your relationship with kind of more like genre entertainment, or like speculative fiction, like sci-fi, fantasy, horror? Like, I don't know, where is that in your in nerddom, or is it at all?
I would say I definitely want to get more into it. I think as a kid, when I'd have these little lapses of reading, something that would always get me back in was something a little more chewy, I guess. Like some fantasy, I love it. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, it's weird to call myself an adult, but in adulthood, I think, I don't know, like I haven't read too much of it. I haven't watched a whole lot of sci-fi. It kind of freaks me out. I think that's why I like nonfiction so much, is it's something that I can cite, and I can see different people's, academic perspectives, and I don't know. Not that you can't do that with sci-fi and fantasy, because of course that's what we're doing today, is, thinking about these big universal questions. But yeah, it just kind of, I don't know. It's just a blind spot, I guess.
Interesting. When you say like it kind of freaks you out, like how? Just
like say fantasy, for example, like there's different magic systems that are going on. In the real world, that's not something that we have, unfortunately. So that's something that's unpredictable, and I think that's what freaks me out. It's just like, okay, nothing is actually in our control at all.
Is it kind of like a relatability thing? Like,
maybe, yeah.
Because I know you specifically really latch onto nonfiction. I know you love fiction and classic literature too, but you really latch onto nonfiction rather than some of the more imaginative stuff. So yeah, I'm curious, like, if
it's just a comfort thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just scared to explore the unknown.
I mean, I also know that you don't like bad things, and there's also a lot of bad sci-fi and fantasy and horror out there. Like, you could argue the vast majority of it is bad.
It's just, yeah.
But the good stuff is great.
Can be great. Can be some of the best storytelling out there.
As someone who, and you brought up your dad, which is perfect. We always talk about a lot of people came into Star Trek through their dads. You haven't, though. I'm curious, and I always love asking this question to newbies. As someone who is kind of, I mean, you have a good, sense of like culture and pop culture. As someone who hasn't really delved into Star Trek, what is your kind of perception of it as kind of like someone who hasn't really engaged with it?
I don't know. It's nerdy.
Just this nerdy.
It's just this like this other, like, I don't know.
There's just this nerdy morass out there called Star Trek.
No, I've certainly been aware of it, and I think I know that it's sound and it's whole, and there's a lot of like really interesting questions that it brings up. We've talked about this idea of like universal,
timeless
like
stories.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know hardly anything about Star Trek, but I've heard that this is one of those pieces of media that, that kind of falls into that little category there. Yeah.
Universal and timeless. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to be very curious to hear your thoughts on this as we watch it. Before we do, just coming to our question from earlier, and like, we've been talking a little bit about, these kind of big ideas, juicy questions. What do you think? Are there actually no innocents in war?
That's so hard.
I know. I wrote this. I'm like, oh God damn it. How do you answer this?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I agree to some extent with Aaron's comment. I mean, yeah, it's a hard question. It kind of depends on who's asking the question too. Are we talking about civilians in war? Are we talking about, actual like
combatants?
Yeah. It's hard.
It's such a loaded idea.
It's so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to this either. And I'm going to be very curious if this episode gives us any, like, I don't know, different perspectives on it. All right. Well, I guess we can take a look at this episode and see if it jogs anything in our brains. Yes, we are watching Duet today. This premiered June 13th, 1993. This is the 18th episode produced for the first season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This is also the penultimate episode for this season. So yes, as we said earlier, this is the second episode in our little Major Kira twofer that we've been doing. We kind of talked about this a little bit last time. Most of the other Star Trek shows, they're about spaceships going to visit strange new worlds, new civilizations. They run into a conflict, moral conundrum, solve it, and then fly off to the next destination. And Deep Space Nine, on the other hand, does the opposite by having a crew on a space station, staying and working with one world and one species over a long period of time, in this case, the Bajorans. And our first officer, Major Kira, she's a kind of personification of this idea. She's like the first non-Starfleet character in Star Trek, or main character in Star Trek, and she's also like an alien native character, and they haven't really had this before. So she's definitely an interesting character to kind of take a little deeper look into. So we'll be continuing that today. We should also note that this is generally considered to be one of the very best episodes of Deep Space Nine, and is often cited to be among the all-time best of the entire franchise. So this is an all-timer. So with these, it's always fun to see if the episode still lives up to the hype after all these years. I guess we'll have to see. All right, for those of you at home who are going to watch along with us, Star Trek Deep Space Nine is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find it by bringing up Season 1, Episode 19, and we will be back after we watch Duet.
I was 12 when I started fighting, but I've heard of some who were even younger than that.
Yes, let's get to the real issue. How many Cardassians did you kill? I mean, personally.
I didn't keep count.
Oh, I think you did. And I'm sure your total wasn't limited to military personnel. After all, the most effective terrorist weapon was random violence. Don't leave now, Major. It's just getting good. How many Cardassian civilians did you kill?
Look, I regret a lot of what I had to do.
How convenient of you.
We had no choice. We were fighting for survival.
So were we. We had an empire to protect. We needed your resources. Everything I did was for the greater glory of Cardassia. And if you spineless scum had to be ground under, so much the better. All that mattered was Cardassia. I loved my homeland. That's what justified my actions. That's what gave me strength.
Nothing justifies genocide.
What you call genocide, I call a day's work.
We just got done watching Duet. And for all you longtime fans, rest assured we are all emotionally broken.
Compromised.
Emotionally compromised. I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah, so in case you have never seen this one, didn't watch it along with us, so in this one, there's like a transport that stops at the station, and there's someone on board who needs medical treatment for Kalanora syndrome. And Major Kira reveals that the only people who could have contracted Kalanora syndrome were people who were at like a Bajoran forced labor camp when the Cardassians were in charge, one of the worst ones, basically like a death camp. She's like, oh, I want to go see who this is. And turns out it's actually a Cardassian who's sick, not a Bajoran. And she's like, oh, if this guy is here and he's a Cardassian, he has to be a war criminal. So they lock him up, and she's trying to convince Cisco and everyone. It's like, yeah, if he is a Cardassian working at the camp, he is a war criminal. This guy protests his innocence, and he says he was just a file clerk there, and it's looking like they're gonna have to let him go because they don't really have evidence of any war crimes. Even though Kira is insistent that he should be investigated and prosecuted, they do come across a piece of evidence that reveals that he is not this file clerk Maritza, but he is Gul Darheel, the guy who actually was in charge of the camp, which changes the whole scenario. Then Kira really starts to go after him really aggressively. A lot of this episode is just scenes between the two of them in the holding cells, just these little just kind of interrogation scenes. However, as they dig further, they figure out that this guy actually is not Gul Darheel. He actually is Maritza, and he essentially has what? Cardassian guilt, white guilt, like he is this Cardassian who was present for all these atrocities and is just like horrified by them, and he has orchestrated this whole thing so that he will be passed off as Gul Darheel, and then they will have like a war tribunal, he'll be brought to justice and executed. And his hope is that this will force Cardassia, his home, to like have to own up to the war crimes of the occupation. And Kira realizes like, no, I have to let you go, and you don't deserve to die. What you're doing is very noble, and definitely has a change of heart. She has a change of heart. However, at the very end, after he's been released, and they're taking him away, a random drunk Bajoran just comes up and stabs him in the back and kills him. And the episode ends with her yelling toward him, like, why did you do it? He wasn't Goldeye Heel. Why? And this guy says, he's a Cardassian. That's reason enough. And she says, no, it's not. And that's where the episode ends. Horrible. We always start with initial thoughts. Toby, initial thoughts coming on off of Duet.
Heartbroken.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, very sad, very mad, very all of the things.
I know it's a kind of a rough episode to inflict on someone as.
Yeah, thanks for taking my Star Trek virginity with that one.
Their
Damn it.
tears were. How was your first time? Not good.
Oh, it was bad.
Not good.
Just a rather large caliber of an episode for the first.
Yeah, it's a big one that slaps you across the face.
No, it was really good. I really liked it a lot. It felt like, I don't know Kira's character very well, but I love her already. Lots of character growth. Yeah, it was really well written. The acting, I think, was really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very impressed.
Well, very impressed. That's what you want to hear when you're showing Star Trek to me. These last two, we've been showing because last week we had Ash on watching another Major Kira episode, and then that one, like we said, it's like she has to evict this Bajoran guy, and he refuses to go, and in the end she burns his house down, so he'll go. And like these last two episodes have been fairly like, oh man. But that's kind of, I wouldn't say par for the course necessarily for Deep Space Nine, but it is generally regarded to be the kind of more.
No, that's Deep Space Nine hitting a birdie or an eagle. Par for the course DS9 is like a good Quark episode, or like a solid Odo discovering himself episode. This is going above and beyond for the show and for Star Trek. Yeah.
But in terms of like the kind of, this is generally regarded to be one of the darker, if not the darkest Star Trek series, and they kind of hit a little heavier than some of the other shows do.
Yeah.
Yeah, initial thoughts, Aaron, coming on off of Duet.
Kira Nerys murdered Cardassian civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think I ever caught that before watching this episode.
There's a couple episodes that brings it up where it's like, yeah, she definitely killed a whole bunch of Cardassian civilians throughout the occupation. Yeah.
Wild.
There's not a lot of Star Trek main characters that kind of have that murderous pedigree.
What an arc.
Yeah.
Does she as a person deserve to have that arc, like the character? Debatable.
This one always gets me, but oh my god, this one got me particularly hard this time. I was definitely like in tears at the end, like, and I think for me this one just hits particularly hard right now. Some of the stuff they're kind of talking about, it's hard not to think about conflicts going on in the world right now, and of course past conflicts. I think the most obvious thing this brings up is kind of the Holocaust, and the Bajorans kind of, you can read as like a stand-in for the Jewish people, and the Cardassians you could read as a stand-in for the Nazis. But you can kind of plug lots of different people and groups into this. Yeah, it's just one of the lines that really hit me was this time around was when she's like, nothing justifies genocide, and he's like, what you call genocide? I call a day's work. And oh my god, that feels so real right now. Like, but I do really like this one. This one always hits really hard for me, and so I guess to start off we have to talk about Harris Yulin as Maritza, or Goldar Heel, whatever you want to call him, since his character is so much of this episode. What do you guys think? What's our feeling on him and his like motivations? Is this guilt just gone to like an extreme, or is there like some real nobility here? Or I don't know. What do you guys think about him and his motivations?
Twisted. Like as noble as he could be in his own mind, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still not the right answer. It's like it's Maritza's way of finding some redemption while maybe giving some hope for his race at the same time. But I don't think he can have both or either.
Yeah, is this actually going to solve anything for his
Is it going to make him feel better? No.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be dead
Yeah.
if his plan goes through.
I'll be dead, so that'll be great. And then hopefully my race will be okay. No, it doesn't work.
He's traumatized. I think that's kind of the root of it is, he's not thinking straight. This is coming out of a place of, a lot of emotion. It's obviously, not thought through in his mind, as Aaron says, this is the noblest pursuit that he sees as realistic. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes me sad for him. Like how it's not a realistic plan. It ultimately, I don't think it'll bring upon a lot of positive change.
Yeah, he's expecting a lot to come out of this situation, and it's hard not to just your guilt has just, and your PTSD, your trauma has just completely taken over your thinking at this point. And it's almost like something that kind of came into my mind watching it this time. I'll be curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I wonder if on some level that he, especially like there's a line I kind of paid attention to in a way I hadn't paid attention to before, where he's like, it's toward the end where like the game is kind of given up, but it's him still trying to hold on at the end and like keep the thing going. And he's like, he's referring to himself as Goldar Heel. He's like, no, I'm alive. I'll always be alive. It's Maritza who's dead. And I wonder if on some level there's some psychological thing where it's like he has internalized this guilt so much that he kind of believes on some level that he is Goldar Heel.
He's responsible. Like, yeah.
It's like somehow he's so haunted by having to work under this guy that he has kind of now become this guy. But I'm curious, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this to the point where he's made himself look like him and it's all part of his scheme? But it's like, I wonder if there's some deeper psychological thing where it's almost like somehow Goldar Heel has kind of taken over his personality and he has kind of become him. I don't know. What do you think?
To a point, maybe. He's adopted that. I think maybe he's that committed to the character because he still, as Maritza, put all his affairs in order and took care of his housekeeper and all that stuff. So there's a part of that guy that's still alive too.
I think like as a Cardassian, he sees himself as responsible. I think, yeah, it definitely goes deeper than his own character. He just feels that, his people were responsible for something, so terrible. So he has to take responsibility as, someone who was present, even though he was just like a file clerk and wasn't, actively harming people. Passively, he was. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I don't know.
What do you guys think? I mean, we'll be bringing up this question a bit, I think, in different context, but what do you guys think? Would we characterize Maritza as an innocent, or does he share some of the guilt? Does he have something to atone for? I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's like Kira says, he's just one man. Oh. He was at the place at the time, but still, what could he have done to stop everything that was going on? Is he innocent? I don't know.
Yeah, is this like, are you guilty by association? Like, or is there still just like, what is this guy supposed to do? I don't know. Can you be?
Like he was a file clerk in the Cardassian military, and he got stationed there.
Right.
Right. So at a certain point, it's like it was out of his control to be there.
Yeah, he says like, he even says, I think along the lines of like, I don't want to be in the military. Yeah. Like, he just kind of gets put there, and I don't know. I mean, like, Toby, what do you think about, like, I don't know, because I also hear sometimes, it's like, I was just following orders, isn't enough to excuse you from certain things. That's some of the arguments that were used in, like, the Nuremberg trials way back when. I don't know, when you look at someone like this, though, it's like, I don't know, like, what is this guy supposed to do? Is there something you can do there? Like,
I mean, it's hard. If I were to try to put myself in his, shoes, I always think that there's something you can do. Even if it was just this quiet, protest of what was going on. But, we don't know, his full story. We don't know to what extent, he opposed the Cardassian orders, if he did at all. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I feel like, I don't know, like, as speaking personally, like, as a participant in, like, a capitalist system that we do today, are we responsible in some way for, like, the funding that's going to Israel right now? Sure. Like, there's always some little piece, like, is anyone innocent? It's hard. It's hard to say.
Right. It is tricky, like, for me, it's like, on one level, there is part of me, it's like, yeah, you are participating in the system, so you are responsible. But it's like, but you didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be part of the system. Mm-hmm. You're in it. You can't just not be in it.
You can't escape it. Yeah.
And that makes you a hypocrite by participating in it automatically, which is why you can't really speak out against anything. Truly.
It's hard.
People calling you out for
it's
something
so
else.
Complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of these things where it's like, on one hand, speaking personally, it's like, I chose to be a vegan because I'm like, I don't want to participate in this, horrible, slaughtering of animals. But I'm like, and so I'm like, on some personal level, it's like, this is something I've identified to be important that I can't participate in this. I'm like, but I would be crazy if I thought all my other just being like, buying this thing, participating in this, blah, blah, blah. It's like everything you do on some level contributes to it. So you can't get away from it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh God, but then on the other hand, on the third hand, one line that pops in my brain a lot, there's a quote from Doctor Who. It's Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor, because he's the best one, where I can't remember the episode in the line. It might be the one with the Zygons, and like, it might be the episode of the war speech that he gives, that big epic war speech he gives at the very end of the episode.
To the humans and the Zygots.
Yep. Yeah, to talk him down. He's like, he gives them that little scale model of war, and he literally puts their hands on the buttons, and it's all this orchestrated scheme. The whole episode has been to get them to this little orchestrated scheme to show them how stupid war is. It might be that episode, I can't remember, but there's a line he has where it's like, where someone is saying something that's like, well, but this isn't my fault. Like, why should I take responsibility? And he says something a lot in a very emotional outburst. He's like, well, maybe if everyone, felt guilty, and took responsibility, maybe someone would actually do something about it, for a change. It's like, it doesn't matter if you think it's your fault. It's like, you can do something about it, But it's like, but also, what is the littlest person supposed to do? You have this much power.
I just saw like a little scene from Rambo the other day. The guy looking at him like, this is not your war. He's like, it is now.
It is now.
It is now.
Yeah, once again, I don't know if there's any good answers. It feels very sticky and messy, and
very much.
I do have to say shout out to Harris Yulin for that performance.
So good.
So good. You mentioned the writing being, I think the writing is really good in this episode, but I also feel like this is a case of the actor even further elevating the material. That breakdown scene he has where he switches, you're just like,
just puts his head down. Yeah.
Just starts crying. Yeah. And shout out to you, Harris, if you're listening. If you'd like to come be a guest on our show, you can email us at storied@StarTrek.
We will praise you and laud you for 45 minutes to an hour.
The other side of this coin, we get Nana Visitor as Major Kira, and it's really her conflict that's the focus of this episode, like both with Maritza and like her own past. And you said you had liked her, Toby, and especially coming in really new. Like, how does she come across in this?
It's complicated. I can definitely see that there's, she's torn. As you said, she's a war criminal. She's done some shitty things. But then really coming to terms with, these atrocities that the Cardassians did. And I don't know. I like her. I don't like her. She's complicated.
What do you like and what don't you like?
I like her, I think toward the end, like humility. There's a little bit of like, oh, we've all screwed up. I think she starts to see him as, a person, not just a Cardassian. So yeah, I liked that kind of, I don't know, coming to terms with herself as well a little bit. I think I'd need to watch more episodes with her in it to really like her a lot. She comes off as very standoffish and she's very, what's the word?
Aggressive, hostile.
Yeah, a little bit. She's, yeah, I don't know. I'll try to think of the word. But anyway.
We shall consult the thesaurus and get back to you. What do you think, Erna? Because, we've been watching a few of these episodes, and she's probably the character we have focused and featured the most so far in our Deep Space. And we're watching this little Major Kira twofer. What do you think? How does she come across in this, just based on what we've watched so far?
It's interesting that you say that she still comes off as, standoffish a little bit, because she has come so far already from what we've seen in the first episode to now. In the pilot, she's unreasonable.
She's just yelling at everyone.
Yeah.
Pilot.
And to see where she is now and all the sense of self and confidence that she has gained, but still how far that character has to go. It's all the stuff that's in her way personally. It's that's crazy.
I feel like, especially with these last two episodes, and even the episode before Battle Lines, that wasn't a Kira episode per se, but that's when we see the beginning of her finally starting to deal with her war PTSD. But certainly these last two episodes, something I've thought about. I've seen these episodes a bunch of times, but I haven't really watched them back to back, and they're an interesting kind of back-to-back kind of episode, because in the first one, Progress, she has this realization of, because she has to basically tell this guy on his property to leave to build the bypass. Essentially
bypasses.
But she can't help but really empathize with this guy and his plight, because he's this old guy who has spent his entire life defying the odds and fighting the Cardassians. She's like, now I'm the person coming in and telling you got to get the fuck out, and she can't do it. And she just kind of starts she's on the verge of insubordination until she finally kind of gets sense knocked back into her. And then so she kind of has to be the bad guy in her mind to her own people in that episode. And then in this one, she is forced to confront, maybe the Cardassians aren't all as bad as I thought they were. so I feel like in these last 2 episodes, there's been a lot of recontextualizing for her with her own people, the Bajorans, and then the Cardassians, and then her own place in it.
Yeah, no matter how, it's like 1 step forward for her is 2 steps back in a later date.
Right.
Like, there's something that always pulls her right back to where she was in the Resistance.
Yep. I'm curious, she makes a big point a little earlier in the episode with Commander Sisko. She's like, I am your first officer. I promise I will conduct myself accordingly. Just let me or a Bajoran do this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think she does she hold herself together, or does she get lost in the situation? Does she live up to her promise to stay professional and reasonable? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely some personal, like, internalized things that she let loose in those confrontations that I wouldn't say are professional.
No.
But, had she not been given that opportunity and trusted by, what was his name?
Commander Sisko.
Yeah. Then she maybe wouldn't have been allowed or discovered that character arc. So maybe he was trusting her just in a different sense.
Letting her, like, maybe, you need to do this. What do you think, Aaron? Does she stay true to her promise?
No. No. She said, I give you my word as a first officer that I'll be objective about this. And then 1 line from Sisko later, she says, I'm asking you as a friend to let me do this. So it's like, instantly she's breaking that promise. Of course she can't be objective about it. She's like, please, just let me do this.
So maybe he even lets her do it on that personal level, like you. I kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to, against my better professional judgment, let you do this for personal reasons. What? Same kind of question for her. What do you guys think? Is she an innocent? Does she have something to atone for here? Because as we've talked about, she's also like a murderer.
Yeah, she's not innocent.
No. No. So I guess coming to our question, I know, what do you guys think now that we've watched this episode? Any more thoughts on, like, are there actually no innocents in war? What do you guys think now that we've come on the other side of this episode?
I was thinking about the very end with the murder, the stabbing. It gave me the sense of like these actions just have fallout and emotional consequences beyond, like,
for years to come.
Because for a war or something like this to even happen, you need, like, the backing of your people behind you to go and do it. So there's, like, you have to muster that evil and that hate and that desire to go to war or whatever. So yeah, I would say to a certain level, there's no innocence, but it's a consequence of a few people, and that spreads to, like, everybody.
Yeah. Cycles of violence.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Toby? Are there actually no innocents?
The cycles of violence bit that Aaron mentioned, I think. Yeah, no one can escape it. Everyone is affected in some way, and their actions will reflect that, whether during a war or after the war, or I don't know. Yeah, it's tricky.
A lot of times, I still tend to point the fingers, generally speaking, at larger institutions.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
You could stop this.
Yeah, that's where all the
potentially.
That's where all the power is. So.
That's what makes this whole thing so frustrating, is, like, as individuals, we have all this ambition and this passion, and I think, I don't know, if we were in positions of power, I think we would do things differently, or we would think that we would.
I hope so.
I certainly. But yeah, like, you have to blame the institution.
Yeah.
Fuck the government.
Fuck him.
Anarchy.
Break the wheel.
Yeah, once that, like I said, and we've talked about on the show before, I personally don't believe in free will, so it's really hard for me to hold any one person solely responsible for their actions. I just don't think that's I just don't think that's how things work. Like everyone is a product of genetics and their culture. It's like none of us do we have choice? Sure, but again, those choices are usually very limited. We don't have unlimited choices. Do you have free will if it's like, hey, you're in a genocide and you can make it a little better or a little worse? It's like, wow, thanks, free will. I feel so free to act in this situation. You know what I mean? I have a choice between bad or less bad, right?
Well, God wouldn't put you in that situation if you didn't believe you had the strength to overcome it.
Are you telling me being part of genocide is God trying to teach me a lesson?
I'm just saying he has a plan.
We all have to go through trials in this life.
Oh God, maybe there was something they did in the before time.
We all have agency, free agency, Jaron.
They do too. They have agency. They didn't have to be right in the middle of the invasion route from this place to this. They didn't have to settle there. So whose fault really is it? It's hard.
We're helpless.
Yay. We asked Ash this kind of similar question. If you could somehow put yourself in the shoes of someone in the early 90s where you kind of had to just flip through the channels and see what was on. You've never seen Star Trek, never seen Deep Space Nine. You stumble across this episode, more or less watch the whole thing. Is this something that makes you want to watch more of the show?
Yeah. I think if this were my introduction, which it was. Why did I say that?
If it's some crazy
Hypothetically.
Yes. I want to keep watching. You said no.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
No.
Yes, yeah, I would keep watching. It's very interesting. I think I would like the campy stuff too.
Yeah. Does this feel dated? Does this still hold up more or less?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think I was born the turn of the century. Yeah. And I think my growing up years have very much been it's like the introduction of, the iPhone and the internet, and everything's very quick and accessible, and everyone's attention has to be, grabbed all the time very quickly. And, the TV that I watch now, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of substance. It's just an entertainment value kind of deal, which, for many reasons is fine and good and great. But I do kind of miss, I wasn't alive. I like seeing older shows because they do have that sort of like, okay, this needs to mean something. Someone needs to watch it and then go back and want to find something else from this and dig deeper. And I don't know. I kind of like that.
Well, all right. Another successful conversion to the ways of Star Trek.
Yes.
And then just speaking just very briefly on the question, this will be a little harder for you to comment on, Toby. But Aaron, what do you think? One of the best of all, Deep Space Nine, or one of the all-time greats of Star Trek?
This one I agree with.
Yeah,
that's an all-timer.
I agree. I would put this pretty near the top, like top 5, probably for Deep Space Nine for me. Toblerone, any final thoughts on Duet?
Kira's hot.
Kira is hot. It's those little nose wrinkles. I love the earrings.
That's the eyes.
Yeah.
And
eyes.
Oh my God. Also that shock of short red hair, I think.
Oh yeah.
She wears it so well.
She does.
And then just I love that her uniform is almost the same shade of red as her.
Yeah.
as her hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like her a lot. I could fix her.
I could believe it. I could believe it. Toby will be coming back for all the Major Kira episodes, and we'll also be sharing their shipping fan fiction. Aaron, final thoughts on Duet?
War's bad. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we pretty much said it all.
War's bad.
There's so much more you could say, but yeah.
One additional thought I will add. I am a very much believer in this idea of creativity thriving within limitations, because you have to be creative when you're really limited in what you can do. And this whole episode was not initially planned as part of the season. This was literally like, hey, we need to save money. Like, this first season of Deep Space Nine has already been really expensive. We want to spend some money on the season finale next episode. We just need an episode that can save us some money. Maybe one guest star and no new sets. What can you guys come up with? This whole episode was conceived of as just a way to save money real quick. And I'm like, it ends up being one of the best episodes of the show. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our coverage of Duet. We hope you enjoyed it. At least our coverage, if not the episode itself. Though I can't imagine someone not liking this episode. And thank you, Toby, for coming on and talking about Duet with us, having your first Star Trek episode.
Of course.
Yes, thank you, Toby.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on for something else. I'm not sure what we would bring you on for next, but I would definitely love to see some of your thoughts on some of the other Star Trek shows. Next time, we're going to be watching In the Hands of the Prophets. We're also going to get some more juicy stuff in this one. This week we got some of the wartime stuff. Next week we're getting religion in the classroom. Yay!
My favorite.
My other favorite subject.
This episode.
We thank thee, O God, for the prophets.
And that's homeroom.
Okay. Homeroom. And we will be having a new friend on to talk about that one with us. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, everyone. Thank you. Toby, once again, thank you.
Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you all next time. Hopefully not in a Bajoran death camp. Bye. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.